Listen up. Too many people out there are scared of being alone. They think solitude is some kind of punishment. But let me tell you something, being alone is a gift, a weapon, and the ultimate proving ground. When you're alone, there's nowhere to hide, no distractions to mask your weaknesses, and no one to lean on. It's just you versus you. That's where the magic happens. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort, running to noise, running to people who make them feel safe. But safety doesn't build warriors. It doesn't sharpen the blade. You need to sit in the silence and face yourself. You need to confront every doubt, fear, and excuse that's been holding you back. That's how you grow. That's how you level up. Being alone isn't loneliness. It's an opportunity to connect with the person you really are, the one who's been buried under expectations, distractions, and the opinions of others. You can't fake it when you're alone. There's no applause, no validation. The only voice you hear is the one in your head. And that voice will either tear you apart or lift you up. And guess what? You control that voice. If it's telling you that you're not enough, then rewrite the script. Fight back. Push yourself so hard that even your inner critic has to shut up and watch in awe. Being alone forces you to take responsibility. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to do the work for you. And that's a beautiful thing because it means the power is in your hands. You get to decide who you're going to be. Use that time to grind, to learn, to build something unstoppable inside you. When you embrace being alone, you realize you don't need anyone to tell you who you are because you've already proved it to yourself. People think strength is about how much weight you can lift or how fast you can run. No, real strength is being able to stand alone, face the storm, and keep moving forward. When you learn to thrive in your own company, you become untouchable. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't crave attention. You don't fear rejection. That's freedom. That's power. So stop avoiding solitude. Stop filling every quiet moment with noise. Sit in it. Lean into it. Own it. Because the person who can stand alone is the person who can conquer anything. And that's the kind of person you were born to be. Get after it. Being alone is often misunderstood as something negative, as if solitude means you're isolated or unwanted. But the truth is, it's one of the most powerful tools for growth and self-discovery. When you're alone, you have the space to strip away all the noise, expectations, and distractions of the outside world. It's your chance to dig deep and connect with who you truly are, not who people expect you to be, not who you're pretending to be, but the real you. In those quiet moments, you begin to see yourself clearly. You start to notice what drives you, what holds you back, and what you truly want out of life. Solitude gives you the opportunity to face yourself head on without filters or facades. It's not about loneliness, it's about freedom. Freedom from the need to constantly please others or fit into a mold that was never meant for you. It's a gift because it allows you to reclaim your time, energy, and focus for the things that truly matter. When you embrace being alone, you stop seeing it as a void and start seeing it as a blank canvas. It's where you can create, dream, and build yourself up. It's the moment where you realize that being with yourself is not a punishment, but a privilege, a space to grow, to heal, and to rise stronger than ever. When you're alone, there's no escape from yourself. You can't hide behind the noise of social interactions, distractions, or the approval of others. Solitude strips away the mask we wear and leaves us face to face with the raw truth of who we are. That's where the real work begins. Without distractions, you're forced to confront the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding, the insecurities, the self-doubt, the habits that hold you back. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You can't grow if you're constantly running from the areas where you're weak. Solitude brings those weaknesses to the surface, not to punish you, but to give you the chance to address them and turn them into strengths. This is where you start to see your patterns. You notice the excuses you make, the fears that paralyze you, and the limits you place on yourself. There's no one around to sugarcoat the truth or distract you from it. It's raw and unfiltered, but it's also the clarity you need to push forward. In those moments of solitude, you gain the power to face the uncomfortable truths and do something about them. Without anyone else to influence you, your choices and actions become fully your own. You realize that your success, your growth, and your happiness are entirely in your hands. And in that realization, you find strength. Being alone doesn't weaken you, it sharpens you. It forces you to take a hard look at yourself and make the changes you've been avoiding, building the foundation for real, lasting growth. When the world goes quiet and it's just you, that's when the real battle begins. Silence can feel overwhelming because it forces you to confront the thoughts, doubts, and fears you've been avoiding. But this silence is where the strongest people are made. It's the ultimate proving ground, a place where you either break down or break through. In the stillness, there's no one to applaud your efforts, no external validation to feed your ego, and no distractions to pull you away from the truth. You're left with nothing but your own inner voice, and that voice will test you. It will question your worth, your ability, and your dreams. But here's the secret. It's not the silence itself that's hard. It's the stories you tell yourself in that silence. And this is your opportunity to rewrite those stories. The silence reveals what you're truly made of. When there's no one watching, no one cheering, and no one guiding you, the only person you can rely on is yourself. It's in these moments that you discover your capacity for discipline, focus, and resilience. Every doubt you conquer, every fear you face, every moment you push through the discomfort strengthens you in ways nothing else can. This proving ground isn't for the faint of heart, but it's the birthplace of greatness. It's where you learn to stop seeking external noise and start finding power within yourself. Every second spent in that silence is a chance to sharpen your mind, steel your resolve, and prove to yourself that you don't need anyone else to define your worth or guide your path. The silence doesn't weaken you, it forges you into something unstoppable. The voice in your head is the most powerful force in your life. It can either build you up or tear you down, and when you're alone, that voice gets louder than ever. In solitude, there's no one else's opinion drowning it out, no distractions to mute it. This is your chance to take control of it. If that voice has been telling you that you're not good enough, that you're not strong enough, that you're destined to fail, guess what? That's not the truth. That's just the story you've been feeding yourself. And now it's time to rewrite that story. Your mind is like a battlefield, and the negative thoughts are the enemy. They'll try to convince you to quit, to stay in your comfort zone, to settle for less. But here's the thing, you're stronger than that. You have the power to change the script. Start by challenging those negative beliefs. When the voice says, you can't do this, respond with, watch me. When it says, you're not enough, reminded of everything you've already overcome and everything you're capable of achieving. This isn't just about positive thinking, it's about taking ownership of your inner dialogue. Train your mind the same way you train your body. Push it, strengthen it, and condition it to work for you, not against you. Feed it with thoughts of discipline, resilience, and determination. When you start talking to yourself like someone you respect and believe in, everything changes. You begin to see challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and solitude as a time to grow rather than a time to doubt. The beauty of this process is that it's entirely in your control. No one else can do it for you, and no one else can take it away. The moment you decide to rewrite the script in your head is the moment you take back your power. That voice doesn't own you, you own it. And when you harness it, when you make it your ally instead of your enemy, you become unstoppable. When you're alone, there's no one to blame, no one to lean on, and no one to hand you the answers. It's just you. That's when you realize the full weight of responsibility for your life rests on your shoulders. For some, this realization feels heavy, even terrifying. But for those who truly embrace it, it's liberating. It's in this moment that you understand you hold the power to change your circumstances, to shape your future, and to create the life you want. Taking responsibility means owning every decision you've made, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It means accepting that where you are right now is a direct result of the choices you've made up to this point. That's not an easy pill to swallow, but it's the truth. And here's the empowering part. If you have the power to create the mess, you also have the power to clean it up. If you've made mistakes, you have the ability to learn from them and do better. If you've been stuck, you have the strength to break free. Being alone eliminates the excuses. You can't point fingers or shift the blame. The moment you stop looking outward for someone to save you and start looking inward for the solution is the moment everything changes. This is where real growth happens. You start asking yourself the hard questions. What can I do to improve? How can I take control of this situation? What steps can I take right now to move closer to my goals? Responsibility isn't about self-punishment or dwelling on past failures. It's about empowerment. It's about recognizing that no one is going to hand you success, happiness, or fulfillment. You have to earn it. And the beautiful thing is, when you take responsibility, you also take ownership of the victories. Every success you achieve, no matter how small, becomes yours. You know it wasn't handed to you, and that makes it all the more meaningful. Solitude is the perfect environment for this transformation because it strips away distractions. It forces you to focus on what really matters: your actions, your mindset, and your commitment to change. When you embrace responsibility, you stop waiting for life to happen to you, and you start making life happen for you. That's not a burden, it's your superpower. When you're alone, you have a unique opportunity to focus entirely on yourself without the distractions, noise, or influences of the outside world. This is where the real work happens. Solitude becomes your personal workshop, a space where you can build inner strength, resilience, and discipline that no one can take away from you. In those quiet moments, you're not trying to impress anyone or compete with anyone else. There's no audience, no expectations, no validation from others. It's just you, your goals, and the effort you're willing to put in. That's the kind of environment where growth thrives. It's where you can dig deep, face your challenges head on, and push yourself to new limits without the pressure of external judgment. Building inner strength starts with consistency. When you're alone, every decision you make carries weight. Are you going to stick to your commitments, or are you going to let yourself off the hook? It's easy to show up when someone else is holding you accountable, but true power comes from holding yourself accountable. When you keep promises to yourself, whether it's getting up early, hitting your goals, or simply showing up every day, you start to trust yourself. That trust becomes the foundation of unshakable confidence. Solitude also gives you the chance to focus on your weaknesses. Instead of avoiding them or masking them with distractions, you confront them directly. Maybe it's a lack of discipline, fear of failure, or doubt about your abilities. Whatever it is, being alone allows you to tackle it head on. You experiment, fail, adjust, and improve, all without the fear of judgment. Over time, you realize that failure isn't something to be afraid of, it's just part of the process. This process of grinding alone, working on your craft, your mindset, and your goals builds resilience. It teaches you how to adapt, how to stay focused, and how to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. And that resilience is what makes you unstoppable. You learn that you don't need anyone else to push you because you become your own source of motivation. Inner strength is something no one can see, but everyone can feel. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've done the work, faced your fears, and risen stronger. It's not about being flashy or loud. It's about being solid, grounded, and unbreakable. And the beauty of it is that once you've built that strength, no one can take it away. It's yours, and it will carry you through any challenge life throws your way. True strength isn't found in how much you can lift, how fast you can run, or how loud you can shout. It's found in your ability to stand tall when you're completely on your own. Being alone is a test of your character, your resolve, and your ability to thrive without relying on anyone else to prop you up. When you can face the world without needing an entourage, applause, or external support, you've tapped into a power that few ever reach. In solitude, there are no safety nets. There's no one to cushion your fall or share your burdens. You're left with only your inner resources, your grit, your discipline, your mental toughness. This is where true strength is forged. Anyone can look strong when they're surrounded by people who support and validate them, but the real test comes when you're on your own. Can you keep going when no one is cheering for you? Can you stay disciplined when no one is watching? Can you endure the hard times without crumbling? Thriving alone doesn't mean you don't value others or that you reject connection. It means you've built yourself up to a point where your strength is self-sustaining. You don't need anyone else to define you, motivate you, or validate you. You become your own source of encouragement, and that makes you unshakable. Whether people stand with you or against you, whether they cheer you on or criticize you, it doesn't matter. Your strength comes from within, and that's something no one can take away. When you learn to thrive alone, You stop fearing solitude. Instead, you embrace it as a place of growth and empowerment. You realize that every challenge you face by yourself is a chance to sharpen your resilience. Every victory you achieve on your own terms strengthens your confidence. And every moment you stand alone in the storm without breaking proves to you and the world that you are capable of anything. True strength isn't about avoiding struggle, it's about enduring it. It's about standing firm when the winds of life try to knock you down, knowing you have everything you need within you to keep moving forward. When you master the art of thriving alone, you become untouchable, unbreakable, and unstoppable. You've built a foundation of strength that doesn't depend on anyone else, and that's a power most people never experience. Freedom is found in independence, not just independence from others physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When you embrace solitude, you realize you don't need anyone else to define your worth, shape your decisions, or give you direction. This is the kind of freedom that makes you truly unstoppable. It's not about rejecting connection with others. It's about no longer being controlled by the need for their validation or approval. Most people spend their lives tied to external expectations. They live for likes, applause, and the opinions of others, constantly chasing approval as if it's the only thing that gives their life meaning. But the truth is, relying on others for your sense of self is a cage, not a foundation. It keeps you tethered to what other people think and robs you of the ability to make decisions based on your own values, goals, and dreams. Embracing solitude breaks those chains. When you spend time alone, you start to see life differently. You learn to trust your own instincts instead of waiting for someone else to tell you what to do. You stop basing your happiness on whether or not others agree with your choices. You begin to understand that your worth doesn't come from how many people approve of you, but from the strength, courage, and discipline you've built within yourself. This freedom doesn't mean you stop caring about others or reject relationships. It means you no longer depend on them for your sense of identity. You no longer feel the pressure to be who someone else wants you to be. You're free to live authentically, to chase your goals unapologetically, and to define success on your own terms. Freedom also means you stop fearing rejection. When you no longer need constant validation, other people's opinions lose their power over you. Criticism doesn't shake you because you're grounded in your own sense of purpose. Loneliness doesn't scare you because you've learned to thrive in your own company. Independence becomes a source of strength, not isolation. This level of freedom is rare, and it's something you can only find by stepping into solitude. It's in those moments of being alone that you reclaim your power. You stop living for others and start living for yourself. And when you do that, you discover the ultimate truth. Independence isn't just freedom, it's strength, clarity, and the foundation for a life that's truly your own. Solitude offers a unique opportunity to cut through the clutter of everyday life and focus on what truly matters. When the noise is gone, when you're not distracted by the constant pull of social media obligations or the opinions of others, you begin to experience a profound sense of mental clarity. It's in this clarity that you discover your true purpose and your path forward. In the chaos of life, it's easy to lose sight of your goals, to be swept up by the demands of others, or to get caught in the cycle of pleasing everyone around you. But when you're alone, there's no one else's agenda to follow but your own. It's the space where you can get brutally honest with yourself about where you're headed, what you want, and how you're going to get there. It's the mental space where you can zoom out and see your life from a higher perspective, free from the fog of distractions. Without the noise, you can hear your own thoughts clearly. You can assess your values, your ambitions, and your true desires without influence from external sources. What do you want for your life? What's really important to you? In solitude, you begin to strip away the unnecessary, and what's left is the raw, unfiltered truth of your own desires. And that truth is powerful because it gives you direction. When your mind is clear, your decisions become sharper, more focused. You stop reacting to life and start taking intentional, purposeful action toward your goals. Clarity also means you stop wasting energy on things that don't serve you. When you're constantly surrounded by noise, it's easy to get caught up in things that don't align with your vision. But in solitude, you can evaluate your priorities and make the tough decisions. You start to say no to distractions, to toxic relationships, to habits that are holding you back. You realize that your time and energy are precious, and you begin to guard them fiercely, focusing only on what truly propels you forward. It's not just about achieving your goals either. Mental clarity and solitude allows you to find peace with yourself. You can sit with your emotions, your failures, your doubts, and process them without the rush to be somewhere or do something. It's the space where healing happens. You can reflect on the mistakes of the past, learn from them, and move forward with a clearer, more focused mindset. The beauty of clarity is that once you have it, everything else falls into place. You know what you need to do, why you need to do it, and how you're going to get there. Solitude is the foundation for this clarity. It's where you quiet the mind and make room for the truth to emerge. In that truth, you find the path that's uniquely yours, and with each step you take on that path, you grow stronger, more confident, and more focused. When you embrace solitude, you enter a phase of self-reliance that transforms you into someone unstoppable. The ability to stand alone without the crutch of other support or validation builds a foundation of strength that not only withstands life's challenges, but thrives because of them. When you get comfortable with being alone, you realize that your power doesn't depend on others. It comes from your inner resilience, your ability to push through obstacles, and your commitment to rise above any circumstance, no matter how difficult. The reason this makes you unstoppable is simple. You've learned that external factors cannot control your success or happiness. When things get tough, when setbacks hit, or when the world seems against you, you no longer crumble under pressure. Instead, you face these challenges head on, knowing that you have everything you need within you to keep moving forward. This isn't about having everything figured out or being immune to failure. It's about your refusal to stay down when life tries to knock you out. There's power in the ability to thrive alone because it means you stop relying on others to dictate your pace. You don't need approval, encouragement, or a crowd to keep you going. You become the source of your own motivation, and this is where the real strength lies. When you learn to depend on yourself, you find the courage to take risks, pursue your goals, and make the hard decisions because you know you can handle whatever comes your way. You become unshakable, unyielding, and relentless. Additionally, the growth that comes from embracing solitude is continuous. The more you face yourself, confront your fears, and push through the discomfort of being alone, the stronger you become. Every single day you spend building yourself up in solitude is another layer of strength added to your foundation. You'll start to notice how easy it becomes to handle challenges, how the fear of failure or rejection fades, and how your confidence in your own abilities becomes unshakable. That's what makes you unstoppable, because the more you embrace solitude, the more you realize that your power is endless. In essence, when you embrace being alone, you stop waiting for the world to give you what you need. You realize that everything you need to succeed is already inside you. And once you make that connection, nothing can hold you back. You become unstoppable because you've built the mental and emotional endurance to weather any storm, overcome any obstacle, and continue moving forward no matter the circumstances. And that's the kind of strength and power that no one can take from you. Embracing solitude isn't about isolation or weakness. It's about discovering the strength that lies within you when the world fades away. It's in the moments of being alone that you confront your fears, silence the doubts, and rebuild yourself from the inside out. It's the foundation where resilience is born, where clarity emerges, and where true freedom is found. You stop waiting for others to validate your worth, and you start living on your own terms, guided by your inner compass and unshakable belief in yourself. Solitude forces you to face the truth of who you are and challenges you to become the best version of yourself, free from distractions and external pressures. It teaches you to trust your instincts, to stand tall when everything feels uncertain, and to keep moving forward even when no one else is there to cheer you on. And in that process, you become unstoppable. When you learn to thrive in solitude, you discover a power that cannot be broken, a strength that no one can take from you.